Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Binding of Isaac, Repentance, where today I'm going to take Judas to a new place, which might not be a great idea, because I'm recording this at the same day as I did yesterday's run, and I ran into everything, so hopefully I have now warmed up and will not run into every enemy in the game, and if so, we might see our first death today. There is God's flesh, which I can't get because I don't have flight, so maybe later. But for now, let us simply try to survive this first floor. That's my main motivation, but I'm mostly curious about that strange door that has appeared in the depths, and that is what we will be focusing on today. And hopefully we can make some good stuff happen. Now, arguably, it is better to not do this as Judas, but as a different character. But that's a whole nother set of worms. But there is effectively some strategies regarding what is left to do in the game that are better than others. But I would rather just go for the one that I think is more fun. And that involves doing it with Judas first. So that is exactly what we're going to do. For now, this floor has not given us much health, but it has given us many bombs, so we can at least look for our secret room. We have a bunch of bombs available. There's a decent chances over here, and we only needed the one bomb to find it, so that's good. That is the Black Lotus, which is effectively one of the best things I could possibly get, because it gives us a whole bunch of health and no downside. So yeah, that more or less reduces all the downsides of Judas to zero, and instead just makes everything better. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. Also, little tempted to go for boss rush. I think I could do that this run. So let's see what we can make happen here. It does require me to play somewhat okay, I suppose, but it's definitely not something that would be a terrible idea to try and go for. There's another soul heart, or half of one at least, so not too bad. There is no health in there, but there is a nickel inside the shopkeeper's head, so let's not get that and instead move on. I will probably keep the Book of Belial over any other active items for now, simply because it does make the boss rooms a little bit nicer. If we can keep it for boss rush as well, then that is probably going to be worthwhile as well, provided we can reach the boss rush, of course. But I mean, this has been a pretty damn good first floor, all things considered, so I'm pretty happy about that. We could go into the downpour, but I don't think I'm going to bother this time around. Although it's not a bad idea to at least visit them, because the path we're taking, it does actually help out a bit if you go into the floors that have multiple items. It is also worthwhile to go for planetariums right now, due to mechanics that will be explained a little bit later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, there is another soul heart in that tinted rock, and hopefully, I think I will just play this regularly, basically up until we get to the point where we have the new stuff. So with that in mind, let's just make a run for it. I'm thinking I know where my secret room is, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. Just gonna take care of that champion first in case he accidentally manages to hit us with one of his tears there. We're getting a lot of health this run as well, which is wonderful. More or less exactly what you want to get. That is surprising. I guess my secret room is not over there, and we are actually running out of bombs again. We mostly just got the sad bombs at the start, which is an item we've been getting a lot. I mean, technically we could use this to get more bombs as well, because you just hold the attack button and eventually bombs will appear underneath you, but it is a little bit scary to use. If I find any bomb immunity anywhere in the run, then I might consider it later, but for now I'm just going to say that it's unlikely that we'll be taking that item right there. There's a key, which is nice because the shop is available now, and that gives us another soul heart, so all things good so far. There is the Duke of Flies, which this character can deal with very easily. One sad bomb would be enough to deal with it, but quite frankly, with Judas, you just don't need to deal that much damage to him. It doesn't really matter too much. A bunch of coins from that boss right there. And Guppy's hairball is not exactly something I'm looking too forward to. There is no key in this shop, unfortunately. which would have been nice. Was a little bit considering the curse room there, but overall, I'm just gonna keep moving. I don't mind actually actively trying to go for that boss rush. At least, yes, I haven't done that as this character yet, so it is worthwhile. As long as you stay in front of those flies, then they won't actually hit you if you're far away enough, so that is why I figured I'd deal with them first before dealing with the spiders, which were getting a little bit close there, but with enemies that shoot 2 diagonal shots like this, it is nice to get them out of the way, plus the damage that we're dealing as Judas makes those flies die just in time before the spider was going to get close. I also feel like I'm playing a little bit better now than I was in the previous run, which I'm happy about. So if I can just keep that energy going, then hopefully we're not going to run into too much issue. The problem is, the moment you say you're doing well, immediately all spiders get their spider senses to activate, and that is not ideal. But hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Let's just clear this one, because the creep does get a little bit dangerous from time to time. And slowly but surely make our way forward. I'm tempted to use the Emperor card on one of these floors, because we're not going to be able to carry that too far this time around, but simultaneously, I think I'll keep it for the next floor and then just use it immediately there. Depending on whether or not we get a devil deal on this floor, I guess, is also an important factor on that. Because if we do get a devil deal here, it might be worthwhile to look for a secret room first and destroy Shopkeeper or something like that. That is the Obsessed Fan, which is part of the Lord of the Flies transformation, and that is probably the most positive thing about it. I suppose we could probably deal some damage with it against these enemies because they move in a very particular way, but it's still not a very usable item for me. But that's just how I play, I guess. I'm not very good at playing with about a full second of lag in terms of trying to deal contact damage, so that's more on me ultimately. There is the Husk, which is effectively Lord of the Flies again, so I'm feeling pretty good about the bosses that we're getting in terms of trying to clear them nice and quickly. It is also tempting to just explore this floor a little bit more, because I ended up clearing that rather quickly. We're at the 6-minute mark, and if I can reach Caves 2 in like 10 minutes or something like that, then there's still a decent chance that we can make it, especially with an Emperor card in hand. It might be worthwhile to save this Emperor card for the Depths 1, actually, because not having to do that floor is actually kind of nice. Plus, there's no real downside to just skipping a floor either. So I'm tempted. I will visit my shop real quick, and after that I think I will just move on. I don't have a key, I just realized, so that is a bit of an issue, but perhaps we can find a key in our secret room, which might be next to this one. Also, our damage isn't the best, but we'll just have to make do, I suppose. The secret room could also be to the left of this one. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There might actually be a couple places where it could be, unfortunately. But we might be able to kill a fly next to that key right there and push it out. Otherwise, yeah, that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. We could maybe make a bridge as well, but it's I have been shooting a bit wildly here, so there we go. Ended up making it work, mostly by accidentally missing a fly multiple times there, but it worked out. I got a key and I can now visit the shop right there. There's the 2 of Spades, which I will probably use after visiting the shop, so I can just get back. Or I'll just use it there, actually. I think that's probably better. We have 4 keys now instead of 0, so that's a pretty good upgrade there. Quickly visit the shop to see if there's some more soul hearts here, and if not, then we'll just move on. What is that? That's the smelter. Had we found any trinkets so far, that would have genuinely been somewhat tempting, because it gives you the trinket effect permanently. It is an active item, so we would have to get rid of the Book of Belial, which is not what I want, really, but it does carry some positives with it, so yeah. It was tempting. It was tempting for sure, but I'm just going to move on instead. To the Flooded Caves, which I believe we unlocked the previous run. All in all, not too good. We're gonna get the more slightly difficult floors now, unfortunately. There is the friendship necklace to have the familiars fly around me a bit. And we'll just get a couple more coins here, I think. And then move on quickly. We ended up getting that, so that's pretty good. We are going to get some more Devil Deal chance by blowing up that creature right there. I'm a little curious if the Obsessed Fan actually gets affected by this. Nope, doesn't change a thing. Okay then. Well, that's fine. Doesn't really matter too much in the end, but it would have been nice, I suppose. I'm actually just going to blow this guy up as well. Just maximize the chances of a door opening at the end of this floor. And this is a mess of a room, but it worked out in the end. Kind of weird movement, but yeah, it worked out. I do see there is a curse room right there, which I will just try and get. For some possible soul hearts as well. Nope, just bombs. But doesn't matter too much. Let's just move on. There is a gold chest over there and a bombable chest as well, but I don't have any bombs anymore due to the, quite frankly, lackluster amount of bomb drops that we have been getting so far. Really, I wouldn't mind just a few more consumables. There was that champion room or challenge room or whatever earlier that could have had some bombs in it and those two great chests, but I didn't really feel like going for that at the time. But I might regret that as the run goes on if we're just not going to get anything, unfortunately. But so far so good. I am cutting these things a little bit closer than I probably should. We did get a health up, so that's nice in case we get a devil deal. Our health is still not very red, but we have the containers and that's actually enough these days, so fair enough. Little sketchy to do this right here, but the Obsessed Fan actually did some work, so fair enough. And telekinesis, which is an active item. It is a lot more visible than it used to be, actually. I don't think I've actually used telekinesis in a while now, I'm starting to realize, which hadn't actually seen that effect, but it's certainly an item. Bad gas. Wouldn't have minded a full health pill or something like that. Don't love this in combination with the mushroom there, but we can probably make this work if we just pay attention to this guy right there. As long as we just start moving the moment he's finished shooting his shots, then it doesn't really matter too much. Turn those into blue flames. And find another rather lackluster shop right here. At least there's a new bomb, so I will actually get that because we were running a little low, but I might actually use one of them here. With the faint hope that those 2 times 10% chance was going to give me one soul heart. Even if we do get to boss rush, I don't love this build. We're getting a lot of active items and nothing really usable, unfortunately. But we're just gonna have to make do. Maybe we just won't do the boss rush. That's also an option, of course, but I would like to just get it out of the way. It's just one of those things that's nice when you have it done, you know? Because then you don't have to worry about it ever again with that character, and that's just a nice non-concern, I suppose. And Judas is probably one of the easier characters to go to boss rush with if you find any sort of safety in your run, and we have found a couple hearts here and there. But yeah, I still wouldn't mind just getting it out of their way. It would just make my life a little bit easier in the future, and I would appreciate that. Would mean that we have to clear the remaining 2 floors in like 9 minutes. This is a strange room. I don't think I've seen this one before. Not too difficult, but there's a lot of poops that we have to deal with. But there is a large hole in the middle of the floors, and most of them are just going to be sort of dangling and not really do too much there. Still a couple little ones over here. They also die in 1 hit, but they are rather quick. And we get 1 more key, so not too terrible. I can't fully remember why I haven't opened that golden chest earlier. That is visible on the map right there, but there probably was some reason why. I probably just couldn't reach it, because I'm pretty sure I had the keys at the time. I know I didn't enter my dice room because I didn't think I'd have the keys for it. Didn't want to spend the keys on it at least. There is Mega Boy. This is the champion version, which I think it's the one that might also spawn rocks if it does a slow jump. Might just be the poop one though. Not sure now. I'm just gonna stand here and shoot at him for a while. Maybe get rid of some of these poops. Yep, it is the bad one. Alright. That is unfortunate, but so far at least he's being pretty kind in his attacks. I think he actually ended up jumping on that barrel there, which helps out a little bit in terms of damage. And slowly but surely we have finished the fight. For a little bit more health, a angel room. And that's Eden's Soul, which is an active item, or it's Little Delirium, which is also an item. And I don't think I want to give up Book of Belial, so I will just take Little Delirium. I'm probably going to regret it because it's not the greatest thing in the world. And I'm just going to keep on moving. Let's see if we can just clear a couple rooms here and then immediately go to our boss room right there. I'd like to have the Book of Belial available for the boss. Also, maybe because of the friendship bracelet that we have, we might actually have some of those familiars orbit around us, and I'm curious if that includes the form of the big beautiful fly that would just explode if it reaches an enemy. Genuinely not sure. There is the cage, which is yet another enemy that I don't love to see, so good. Because of this attack right there, it can be rather precarious if you suddenly end up taking damage. This is another familiar which doesn't get affected by the friendship bracelet, but can hopefully deal a little bit of extra damage to the boss right here. And we're just gonna do our best. At least so far he's just rolling around, and he is rolling into the spikes as well, which is good. So if you can just keep doing that, that would be great. Little Delirium is actually dealing decent damage. And yeah, there you go. A little bit more damage than I would have liked to take. It's a pretty big floor. I'm just gonna keep on going. Maybe we'll get a planetarium on the next floor. Maybe we won't. We have a 21% chance of planetarium. There is a strange door over here now, and we are going to look for a skull with an X on it, because that is going to contain a card that I want to be able to go back to that room later. For now, it is just a matter of surviving until we actually find that, and also fight Mom's Heart and do the boss rush maybe afterwards. If I feel like the build isn't good enough for boss rush, then I will at least take the item and I'll just teleport out. And that is the beautiful bomb right there that will occasionally deal damage to me if it ends up running into me. At least it has a sad bombs effect as well, which is pretty nice. I think I'll actually just use Book of Belial in rooms like this more often as well, because I might as well. It's going to charge most of it back after I do so anyway. So that is going to work out. But the skull with an X on it will, I'm pretty sure, now spawn always in depths 2. And it'll spawn in, I think, a room you visit is more or less how it works, because I've had it spawn in rooms that aren't always accessible, but I've never seen it not spawn, you know? So it more likely than not just spawns in a way that's favorable to you most of the time. But I'm sure we'll find some time where that's not going to be the case. But we need some kind of way to teleport back to that door after we have killed Mom's foot. And that skull is more or less a guaranteed method of doing so, which is nice. We could try to get some more angel room chance here by blowing up that demon beggar, so I will. Because it is fairly likely it's going to open again. I'll skip the big room again for now and recharge my Book of Belial first. I do need to also remember to not accidentally end up with no bombs. But there was the skull with the X on it, so that's why that card guaranteed dropped. That was some fiddly movement, but it worked out. But that is a full card. I will just take this, actually. Could have technically been a telepills pill and teleported us into the boss room, which would have been disastrous. But, I mean, at that point, I could still go to the cathedral at least. But I would rather do the thing I set out to do for once. And somehow that's never cathedral, so we are just going to move on. Full card in hand. If I just never let it go, then we should be okay. It's a little tempting to skip this item room as well for a number of reasons, but let us just take it this time though. That is Cricket's body. It's going to lower our range, but it's going to deal pretty decent damage with our tears now because they're going to explode into smaller tears. So I'm pretty happy about that. Little tempted to play this machine actually, especially since it's effectively for free, but I think I'll just do the boss room actually. Because we are running a little low on time. I'm a little tempted to look for my shop as well, but I don't know. Let's just do this first. I will not use Book of Belial in this fight in case I do suddenly decide to do the boss rush. It could be that the boss rush just contains a good item, which makes it a bit more bearable to do the boss rush. But I think, if needed, I'd rather just skip it. I'm taking a lot of damage now as well, which isn't helping my odds of the boss rush either, so let's just clear this quickly. Just a little bit more. Just like one more hit. There we go. We get another angel room as well. What is our time? 18 minutes 22. That is the Holy Mantle, so that is making it a little bit more tempting. And there's also a Tinted Rock right there, which I could have used Mom's Foot to blow up. Has another Soul Heart inside it. There is Panic, which isn't great. There's the Sticky Bombs, which I can't get because I don't have bombs. Kidney Beam, which is terrible. And Lord, yeah, it's all just garbage. So, you know what? I think we'll actually just leave the boss rush alone for now because that is genuinely horrendous items right there. But the Holy Mantle does make me feel a lot better about this run. It adds so much safety. So I will just quickly look for my shop. Because we picked up the negative, we can now use the negative on the strange door at the starts of this depth floor. If you have the Polaroid or the faded Polaroid or the item that allows you to open locked doors with bombs, there is a trinket that does that, but I don't fully remember which one it is. But you can use any of those to open up the door right there. I used one key too many there actually because I kind of want to see what's in my shop, and there might be a decent item in there. That is Bob's brain in delirium form. Need to look out for that, but other than that, not too worrisome. And what's over here? It is Soul Heart, Converter. Converter's tempting, actually, because I do have old bandage as well. That's going to give us a lot of red hearts. Do I care? No. So let's just put 9 coins in here. Let's put 6 coins in there, and then I think I'm just going to go through that strange door, which is somewhere over here, I do believe. Yeah. Mysterious sounds. The door opens. My damage goes down by 1.7 because we gave away the negative, and it is a damage up these days. And we go to the Mausoleum 2, or at least a version of the Mausoleum. I'm gonna drop this, you know what, I'm gonna drop it a little bit later. Now, if we had a bomb, we could blow up this rock and it would create a large bridge to that golden chest. So if we find a bomb anywhere, I'd like to actually do that. It's one of those nice little extra things that happens these days. And this is what I mean with the brimstone effect that I mentioned in the previous run, that it's a little fiddly. It's not undodgeable, at least. You can more or less tell where it's going to happen, but it's not great. So I do like to take care of these first. My god, I'm very happy about the fact that I ended up with that Holy Mantle, though. It's doing a decent amount of work for me right now in terms of keeping me alive. I appreciate that. I'm just going to play it very safe right now because I want to have as much health as possible for what comes next. But at least with the Holy Mantle we can make plenty of mistakes on the way there. But it would be a shame if this is the first run that dies, because it would be just nice to just get all the clears done with relative ease. Yeah, that's certainly a room, isn't it? So I could go into that boss room right there, but I will actually explore a little bit more. Is that wise? I don't know if it is. I don't think that it is. But I kind of want to... Oh, we did get bombs, actually. So I can at least open that golden chest now. Yeah, thinking about it, I might just open that golden chest and then go into the boss room. Because that's where the magic happens, I suppose. Let's just do this. Create a long bridge to those keys and chests. Just got a bunch of coins this time, unfortunately, but that's fine. And let's go in here. Now, ordinarily, or at least in later runs, it's going to be worthwhile to drop your trinkets in a room like this. When you pick up Dad's note, it's going to do story-related things. My trinket remains the same.
Gone. Just get over it.
What do you mean it's gone?
How could you have spent our savings?
But in future runs, the trinket left in these rooms right here will turn into different things. You can put them in any of the boss rooms or item rooms that we have visited so far, because we will be going back up to the basement and we will be sort of revisiting versions of the floors that we have visited so far. And the item rooms and boss rooms contain the things that you left inside them. So it's definitely worth keeping some things in there if you want to make sure you want to have those things for later. It also means some positive things here and there. That was a nasty room right there. The rooms are a little bit nastier overall, but also the item rooms are a little bit nicer because this is one of the special root item rooms, so it contains 2 items. And usually you can only see one of them, but on the way back you can actually see both, so that's pretty nice. I will just take the bursting sack because the other one's an active item, and I'd like to just have the Book of Belial instead. But we will go into this light, and onwards we go. There is a red heart here, as that was dropped during the boss fight. And I just mostly want to try and survive all the way back to the top, because it would be nice if this could be a winning run. It's very likely looking like this might be our first loss with how things are going, but hopefully we can make some good stuff happen here. But it is going to be a lot of very careful playing right now. Hopefully we can get a couple more soul hearts on the way there. Probably thinking about it, should have just gone for the converter. Also delirium with Lil Brim makes yellow brimstones, which is pretty cool. But yeah, just gonna do our best. If we die, we die, but it would just be really nice to not, you know? There is a lot of enemies that are kind of particular to these areas as well, so occasionally you'll find an enemy that we haven't even fought before, but most of the enemies we fight are just gonna be more or less the regular things that we've seen. I want to visit every one of my item rooms, or at least the ones that I haven't visited, which I think is only the one in the Depths 1. So really I just want to visit that item room is what I'm effectively saying here. Because every item room we haven't visited yet will just have its items in there still, so it is worthwhile to do that. And because of that, it is also worth to skip item rooms early on.
Good, leave! We'll be fine without you.
Also, I'm just realizing that I'm talking through the dialogue. So apologies for that, but we're going to hear it every time we go through this with our characters here, so I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to properly listen to the dialogue as we move on. There's half a red heart in there, but every floor has its own dialogue effectively. I probably could have used one of these green enemies to blow up those skulls there, but I didn't, which was unfortunate. Get the little plum delirium, which is cute. Haven't actually seen the regular item, I think, but it does look pretty adorable. It's kind of worthwhile, I guess, to actually just go through the entire floor as well to try and find some more health, but I don't know. I'm feeling scared. That is quad shot. Not terrible, but not amazing, but I will take that. I think we're almost at the spider baby transformation, which isn't great, but I mean, it's a transformation, you know? Makes spiders friendly to me, I think, so it's not terrible. I'm not going to find many spiders from this point on, I think, but, you know. I'm also not sure where the moon card would put us right now if I'd use it, but I assume it would just put us somewhere in the floor, because I don't think there's secret rooms on these floors either. If you clear that room immediately, like if you kill that enemy immediately, then they just all die instantly, which would have been nice, but unfortunately that didn't work out. But yeah, I'm somewhat concerned about my health situation. However, we do have the old bandage, so if we do end up taking damage, there is a decent chance we're going to drop a red heart. And since we do have a decent amount of red heart containers, it might end up working out. This is one of the enemies that I think only shows up on these floors. When it dies, it explodes like that. So that's fun. Puberty, which is good if we find 3 of them. Luck down, which is less good. If we find 3 puberty pills, we become an adult, and as such, get another heart container, so that would be nice. I will just try and do all these floors, actually, because any soul hearts would just be wonderful. Having a full soul heart build is pretty nice, for this because you are going to end up with a guaranteed bed, so that gives you 3 soul hearts if you only have soul hearts. It is going to heal our red hearts when we only have red hearts though, so it's not too terrible. Here are some more enemies that you only face here. They die pretty violently, so watch out for that. And the one that was in the middle of that one room also is just nasty overall, so all in all, an interesting time, I'd say. I think we do end up getting some more healing somewhere later on during this as well, but we'll see what we see when we see it, I suppose. I'm just gonna do my best and hope that it's going to work out. It's more or less going to be my main strategy here. But let's continue going upwards.
You need to repent. You need to confess your sins and become saved. Let his light inside you cleanse your soul.
Insane. You're taking this too far. Did you hear how you sound?
Pray for your salvation. Come, pray with us, Isaac.
The nice thing about there being dialogue is that I can play focused, which there's a decent chance that that's going to happen when I end up fighting the boss here as well, because it's not like the most difficult boss, but it's a tricky one, and I do like playing it as safely as possible. So there is a decent chance that it's just going to be complete silence and me playing some Isaac when that boss happens, because I want to win this one. There's a soul heart there, so that's actually pretty good. Like I said, any health is welcome right now. Normally I'd walk over the spikes, but with the Holy Mantle giving you so little invulnerability these days, I feel like it's not really worth the time saved from just walking around it. That's not great. Oh my god, that bomb worried me. Might actually blow these mushrooms right here. I was hoping for like a magic mushroom, but it was not to be. And just a couple rooms remain. We are nearing the top, so we are slowly but surely making some progress there. It is a pretty quick route as well, because I guess ultimately you go to the depths too, and then just one extra floor, and then you go back up again, and the floors back up are pretty short. So, yeah. So we have made it to the basement. Only the basement 2 and the basement 1 remain before we have reached all the way to the top. I'm pretty sure I didn't skip any item rooms in the basement, but I will just check them out since it's here anyway. Oh, right, the poop. It's tempting. I'm not really actually just holding the attack button anymore anyway, but it wouldn't really affect me in any way, I suppose, either, so might as well not. This was a fun room because it more or less cleared itself. Some of these heads are once again going to be the spinning variant as well, so watch out for that when you randomly start shooting everything. Because it can get a little dicey. I will actually just clear this, I think, and just give him my money, because he can give health ups. I need to recheck Coin Beggar's item pool, because I feel like I'm mostly just getting black beans. And I'm sure that this character can give other things than the black bean. However, it seems like that's really the main thing. There you go, it's rotten meat. It's another health. So that's pretty good. Might just take this in case we find another one. If not, then waste of a bomb, I suppose, but might as well try and go for that. But yeah, the Holy Mantle might have genuinely saved this run from just nothingness, because I've taken so many hits again. It was more or less what I warned about as well at the start of this run. There's a decent chance I'm just going to run into everything, and sometimes that's just the way it is. And it doesn't help that I'm not super experienced with these floors either, because simply put, I've only done them so many times, you know? There's you do need to do this with every character, but it can be rather tricky. I don't love how this is going, because I'm not really getting close to him. I am dealing some damage. There we go. And I should probably be using the Book of Belial a little bit more than I am, but I'm worried about my charges. Even though I think I'll get 2 charges back if I use it as well, but the bouncy tears of these flies are just frustrating. It's just a lot of them, you know? So it can get pretty dicey pretty quickly. Oh wow, I didn't even see that one. That's concerning. Whoop! Duplicate my keys. Pretty good. I guess a card that would deal more damage, like the Devil card or the Empress, would actually be pretty good right now. So hopefully we could get something like that. I also don't fully know how floor generation works here, in terms of what is where.
Wait! We need you! Your son needs you!
I'm just can't do this anymore.
Please don't leave us!
I'm sorry, my
Slowly but surely, making our way forward. But yeah, like I said, I don't fully know where stuff spawns in terms of where does the beam of light spawn. Like, does it spawn as far away as possible from the boss room, I guess, where you start in, or is it just kind of random where it decides to spawn? I don't really know. It seems to be pretty far away usually. Like one room will be next to it, but not much more than that. Also, you can use full cards in these floors as well, if you have them, to just immediately go to the beam of light. So that's kind of worthwhile sometimes. I'm just gonna go up. I'm just gonna hope that works out. Not the best idea, arguably, but let's do it. We are in home. At home. That's actually incredible. This golden chest can contain whatever. And sometimes it's an item, and this time it was pajamas, so that's absurd, genuinely. So pretty happy about that. There's this room right here with a big carpet, bunch of paintings, drawings, paintings, photographs on the wall that I never actually really looked at before until now. Over here is going to be a chest that we can open. This one contains the red key the first time every time. And like it says, it creates a new room adjacent to a viable wall, blah, 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 blah. And it's pretty interesting during regular runs. In this floor, you can only go to one room, which is right here. And you need to do this with every character, because going here, there is a creature. When we touch it, it'll say, you unlock Judas, because we're playing as Judas. But we do need to go here with every other character. Next time we go here, that's not necessarily going to be the red key, but instead you'll need to drop a trinket in one of the boss rooms or the item rooms, so you can get effectively a card that opens up the door instead. You get a one-use card that you can use. So that's pretty good. But with that, let's go to this bed right here. For ultimate spooky vision. And also the first bed you actually visit, you can actually just sleep in that. Also just gonna go around this real quick, don't mind me. To get your health back if you lost any. There is no pee on this bed, but if you blow up this carpet, there's nothing underneath it, so that's why I'm not wasting the bomb on it. However, let's watch some TV. And there is Dogma. Immediately gonna run away from him, use Book of Belial, and start attacking the television. With this attack, you want to be diagonally away from him, otherwise you're just going to take a hit from a brimstone attack. These are effectively Godhead tiers, so if you stand in them for too long, you start taking damage. You can kind of tell from the static sound how long you've been in it, so keep that in mind. The bomb helped a little bit there. And Dogma is such a cool boss. Dogma is just so cool in terms of every single aspect about it. I genuinely love this boss so much. After destroying the TV, it occasionally becomes this boomerang, which has a lot of dodging involved with it because he's going to shoot feathers all over the place. Just going to walk in circles and try to avoid the feathers and occasionally get some shots in as well. And that's more or less going to be the strategy. He does have other attacks, but he does like to go for that one. He's taking a lot of damage here, actually. This is the preferred attack because you just don't stand in the light before he really starts attacking. After 3 attacks, he's going to throw that light ball somewhere, and you just have to avoid it one more time. Little Delirium is doing a pretty decent amount of work, and when he's close to death, he's going to like switch into some weird forms every now and then for like a couple frames. But that was Dogma. And thus arrives the beast. The beast is interesting. We're suddenly in a different plane. We have a bunch of soul hearts because when you kill Dogma, you get an item, I believe, just called Dogma, which gives you a Holy Mantle effect, flight, and just a bunch of hearts as well. And first of all, we are going to fight this large horseman right here, which is probably one of the trickiest parts of the fight. A lot of tear dodging, but after that, just try and shoot him. After that, he becomes a head in the middle, who's just going to shoot tears in the same pattern over and over, diagonally and horizontally. And that will give us a 2-room charge. So let's just use our Book of Belial to increase our damage a little bit. After that, green horse, a lot of flies. I'm going to stay close to him because he's going to shoot tears up and create poisonous gas clouds that deal damage to you. But if you can sort of just guarantee where those things are going to be, then the fight's not going to be too dangerous usually. And with this one as well, after a while the head comes off and you're dealing with a little bit more nastiness. Also, don't touch flames. Flames are bad. Don't step into lava really. That's more or less the main thing you need to be wary of. And watch out for the many flies during this phase, but that is about it. I think if I use my moon card I just don't go anywhere, but I'm not going to try because I'm not 100% sure. And I will use my Book of Belial whenever I can to slightly increase my damage each time. This one is going to drop mines around the place, which explode into a bunch of tears once they reach next to you, but also explode horizontally, so watch out for that. Usually by this point, this boss is already dead, so I'm not 100% sure what happens now. There we go. He went to the second phase where he's going to start chasing you around a little bit and try to grab you below him, and also shoot a lot of flames around, so watch out for those. And we are just going to try to deal damage. If we throw a bomb, it's just going to fall directly down, so that can help from time to time. Here is Death, who's just going to throw a bunch of scythes at me, and we have to try and avoid them as much as we can. Usually there's some normal, like pretty big holes that you can use to avoid them, but it can be a little bit tricky. After that, he does this attack with many heads flying towards you, and hopefully we can get him to die before this phase is over, which just make life a little nicer. Because the next phase is a little fiddly. We just dropped a red heart, so that's good, I guess. But we did end up destroying him in his third attack, where he just sort of tries to attack you over and over. And thus starts the fight with the beast. And from this point on, it's mostly just going to be a bunch of dodging and shooting the beast at the same time for a while. We did just get Brimstone from Delirium there, so that might help out a little bit as well. From this point on, it is going to be dodging a bunch of flames behind them. Don't try to get too close right here, because you are going to get stuck inside and take a whole bunch of damage that way, which is not great. And after a while, it is going to shoot a Brimstone attack and then go to the other side of the screen. You can shoot down like this, and you won't, for one, we won't take damage, and for two, you also will deal damage to the beast, so that's good. And that is taking us to the last phase of the beast right there. He does have other attacks, but usually you'll have enough damage where it doesn't matter too much. From this point on, it is just about dodging spikes and shooting tears as much as possible, as segments of the beast get destroyed more and more until the fight is eventually over.
The sky above cracked open, and a white beam of light reached down into the earth, smiting the mother of harlots asunder and setting the blood lake to a boil. as the beast descended down into the lake of fire. Isaac ascended towards the crack in the sky, and as he flew, he could see echoes of his past before him. He saw his mother mourning the loss of her son. He saw his father leaving them without turning to say goodbye. He saw his mother sleeping, and his father taking money from her purse. He heard the late-night fights they had that kept him up at night, and the guilt he felt for what he believed he was causing. He felt the pain in his stomach during those sleepless nights, and saw his shadow in the closet waiting for him. As he rose, he felt his fears drop from his body, his shame, his worry pulled from his being. As he became lighter, his ascent became faster. He saw his one true companion alive and well. He saw his mother and father together again, holding each other. He felt his mother kissing him on the head after he had said his prayers, and the comfort in knowing someone was watching over him. He saw his own birth, and the faces of his parents filled with joy and optimism. And then he saw nothing. Are you sure this is how you want this story to end, Isaac? You're the one writing it. It doesn't have to end this way. Here, how about we tell it a different way? Maybe a happy ending?
Okay, Daddy.
Good. Are you getting sleepy yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Isaac and his parents lived in a small house on the top of a hill.
And that is technically the end of the game. There's still so much left to do, but might as well let the credits actually play out for once, now that we have more or less done, well, I would say everything. We haven't done the cathedral 4 times yet, I just realized, so we've done more or less everything. And we have somewhat reached a conclusion to the story of Isaac, at least. So, you know, fair enough. But all in all, I think this new route is so cool. The beast fight, you do get used to it a bit. Like, the phases are pretty much exactly the same every single time. So the first time it's pretty exciting, and afterwards it's more or less gonna fight itself. But I think visually it's still just really cool. Dogma is probably my favorite boss in the game. And all in all, it's just really neat. It's just really neat. Plus the unlocks we're gonna get for this are also interesting. We get redemption in the basement. But as I said previously, we now also have on Judas, we have the little piece of paper in the bottom right to indicate that we have unlocked or beaten the beast with this character. And if you look in the top left, it says RB, and if we press that, we get to the tainted characters, which you unlock one by one going into that closet while going to the beast. So we have a lot of things left to do as a lot of different characters, but we have unlocked our first tainted character. So next time we play, I will probably do some greed mode because I'd like to at least get the Holy Mantle on the Lost character, because that is just going to make every run that goes towards Mother a little bit easier, because we do have to be lost for a little bit during that. And who knows what else we'll do. There's still a bunch of cathedral stuff to do as well, so after the greed mode run, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I hope to see you all there. Bye bye.